And finally, teamwork and manageability. Teamwork relates to your ability to function productively as a member of a group focused on achieving a goal. Working on a team can take patience, balance, tolerance, and an ability to assert your own personality without overpowering someone else's. You don't have to like everyone on your team, but you do have to make the effort to work with them productively. Your willingness to be a team player and your ability to function as an integrated member of the team is critical because you'll often need to work within a team environment. So we've all worked in teams, some more successful than others. I'm stealing this next little bit from Understanding Human Communication by Adler, Rodman, and Sevigny. You may have used this textbook for your Understanding Human Communication course 101, if you took that course. So if this is old news to you, that's okay. I might be repeating something. You don't have to listen, or this might be a good review. I think that it can be really useful to understand some of the informal roles that a person can play within a team. I mean, sure, we can set up formal roles. We can set up, someone who might take the minutes for for the team, someone who does the editing, someone who does the writing, someone who does uh, the lead or something like that. But these are informal roles that I'm talking about. So if you've been on teams, you've probably encountered people who are very supportive, um, who often agree with, and accept the contributions of others, people that offer warmth and recognition. I mean, it's really great when someone says during a meeting, like Roberta said, and then they expand on it. That gives you a feeling like, oh, I've been heard. This person heard me. And that actually creates a feeling of solidarity within a team. I suddenly want to listen to this person more, and I want to support them more the next time they say something because I know that they are trying to support me. The harmonizer. The harmonizer is good at conflict resolution. They try to reconcile disagreements, they try to mediate differences, they try to reduce tensions by giving group members a chance to explore their differences. All these people are invaluable within groups. I'm not actually that good at this, to be honest, but I know many people who are. I belong to a writing group right now, and we're having a little bit of conflict, and there was a bit of tension in the emails that were going back and forth. And this one individual stepped up and said, "Oh, well, we really need to talk about this in person. Let's do things the way we have been doing them, and then let's all discuss it together when we're together on our next Zoom meeting." And it was just such a relief uh, after we'd had, this kind of tension and conflict already. The conciliator offers new options when his or her own ideas are involved in a conflict. They're willing to admit errors to maintain group cohesion. Again, a really valuable role. Um, you want new ideas and new uh, fresh work when something hasn't gone quite right. The gatekeeper keeps communication channels open, encourages and facilitates interaction from those members who are usually silent. This is often, I think, an under appreciated role. There will always be the people who are very good at having their voices heard. Um, So often, people who are more quietly spoken, who aren't as assertive, may have ideas that they would like to contribute, but they struggle to contribute them. That doesn't mean that they don't have something of value to contribute. It doesn't mean that they don't want to contribute. So, having someone who can draw them out and help to create space for them is really useful. The feeling expresser makes explicit the feelings, moods, and relationships in the group, shares their own feelings with others. Again, this can be pretty useful. Someone who's willing to say how they're feeling allows and encourages other people to say how they're feeling. They lead the way. The follower goes along with the movement of the group passively, accepts the ideas of others, and sometimes serves as an audience. And followers are okay as long as they're willing to do the work, and as long as they do stand up and contribute at other times in other ways. Um, that's okay. There are also a number of very common dysfunctional roles in groups, and these are the ones that we're looking to avoid. We do not want to be this person. Now, I think that it's pretty fair to say that at various times we're probably the dysfunctional member of the group, and then at other times we're the person that uh, is a valid contributor. Most of the times we're a little bit of both. Hopefully, we're more a contributing member. I mean, sometimes people do take on a very dysfunctional role, and it can be quite destructive. So look for this in yourself, and look for it in others as well. So oftentimes, uh, the roles that you see on the left can balance out the roles that you see on the right, or can facilitate one of the roles that you see on the right to be a more constructive member of a group. So when I see dysfunction within a group, I don't just look at uh, the person who is complaining that another team member isn't contributing. I try, if I'm able, to look at the entire group, look at all of the team dynamics, because sometimes the person who isn't contributing because they feel like they're being left out or they're not being heard. And sometimes the person who's doing all the work um, is doing all the work because they really want the team to go a particular direction, and so they're pushing hard in a direction that the team doesn't want to go. So there are often multiple reasons for dysfunction within a team. So some of the dysfunctional roles that you might encounter are the blocker, the person who interferes with progress by rejecting ideas or taking a negative stand on any and all issues, the one who refuses to cooperate. Yeah, I think that this sometimes comes from people who are a bit insecure, who are afraid of failure. So they might at times take a very negative stance on things. The aggressor, who struggles for status by deflating the status of others, boasts and criticizes to take other people down. This is just not cool. I think that it's possible for some people not to realize that they're doing it, though. And it is possible, when they're talked to about it, that they might see the problems with their behavior. Um, so, it's good to address this, and it's good to be aware that this can take place. The deserter, who withdraws in some way, remains indifferent, aloof, sometimes formal, um, sometimes wanders from the subject, sometimes engages in irrelevant side conversations. And this is a good case for having a strong leader or a strong um, facilitator within a group. If not leader, facilitator, someone who can keep meetings on track and can hold people accountable to their jobs. The dominator interrupts and embarks on long monologues, is authoritative, tries to monopolize the group's time. Yeah, so sometimes this can happen. A person can feel really passionate about a project, and so they really want it to go a certain way. Um, I think that if I was on the the bad side of these roles, this would be likely the thing that I would do. So I watch for this in myself because I know that I can be sometimes a little overpowering for people. The recognition seeker attempts to gain attention in an exaggerated manner, usually boasts about past accomplishments, relates irrelevant personal experiences, usually in an attempt to gain sympathy. Yeah, so I think that sometimes you can get people who uh, want attention. Sometimes um, I think that people will relate their own personal experiences for a number of reasons. Sometimes it's appropriate, sometimes it's to make a point, sometimes it's to offer an example. But if it's kind of repeated for every occasion, it can become a distraction to productivity. The joker displays a lack of involvement in the group through inappropriate humor, horseplay, cynicism. Usually, this is a sign of insecurity, not knowing how to effectively interact with the group. And in this case, again, a strong facilitator for the group will really help with this kind of thing. The cynic discounts chances for the group's success. Again, this is often the sign of uh, fear, often someone who just feels like they're afraid to take the risk of doing a good job. So be thinking about these problems as well as these solutions for teamwork, because teamwork will absolutely be a skill that a future employer will be looking for. How do you show that during an interview? How do you show that in your resume and in your portfolio? How do you show that you're good at teamwork? Are you good at teamwork? If you're not good at teamwork, why not? Put some thought into that. Okay, so I just want to recognize that I got some of the material for this series of presentations from Understanding Human Communication, Adler, Rodman, and Sevigny, as well as Knock 'em Dead job interview, Martin Yate.